Hi, Oscar. I've been thinking about the Duolingo English tests growth problem, and I don't think it's a marketing problem. I think it's an infrastructure assumption problem. The test assumes a laptop, but what if the next 100 million students don't have access to one? I'm Tennille Bernard, and I want to talk about the students that the DET has not reached yet. The DET strategic bet is the right one. Disrupt the TOEFL and IELTS by making high-stakes English assessments accessible, affordable, and home-based. You're not just building a test. You're building the global infrastructure that determines who gets access to educational opportunities globally. With 6,000 partner institutions already on board, the supply side is working. The bottleneck is not in institutional trust, it's in student reach. And the student reach has a geographical ceiling that nobody has designed around yet. Here's what I see. The DET was designed to replace the testing center within the home. And that was the right move for a student in Boston or London with a MacBook and a reliable Wi-Fi connection. But in Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, and across Southeast Asia, the tech evolution in some parts skipped laptops entirely. Rural populations went straight to smartphones. E-commerce platforms across Africa have rebuilt entire supply chains around mobile-only users because it's where the people are. Right now, a student in Accra with a 4.0 GPA, a full scholarship offer, and a phone cannot take the DET, not because she's not qualified, but because the product doesn't meet her where she is. And that's not a small edge case. That is your next growth market. And it has a second order effect. Every student who cannot access the DET defaults back to TOEFL or IELTS, which means every institution that would have accepted DET scores loses a data point, and Duolingo loses a conversation in the most important funnel it has. The opportunity is mobile-first DET, not a degraded mobile experience, but a purpose-built mobile assessment that maintains the security and integrity the DET is known for while meeting students on the device that they actually own. The proctoring challenge is real. I've sat through peer reviews process personally, and the friction is significant. Room scans, equipment checks, browser lockdowns. That level of friction on a desktop is annoying. On a phone, it's a brick wall. The product answer isn't less security, but smarter security, using AI adaptive proctoring that calibrates its requirements to the risk signal in real time, rather than applying maximum friction to every user regardless of context. Your AI research team is already positioned to build this. The product question is how to sequence it and what the MVP looks like for a mobile first market. And here's why I'm the right person to work on this problem. At Amazon, I inherited a compliance platform with a 95% pre-onboarding drop-off rate across 27 EU markets and the UK. The users weren't failing because they lacked capability. They were failing because the system assumed a sophistication they did not have and never met them where they were. So I rebuilt the journey end to end, drove a 60% activation rate, and unlocked 600 million in recovered revenue. It's the same problem, just a different industry, different stakes, but the same root cause, a product that is assuming the wrong starting point for the user. In my first 90 days, I would focus on three things: a deep dive into where the acquisition funnel mobile users are dropping off or not converting at all, create a lightweight prototype of a fully mobile optimized assessment flow to pressure test the security assumptions, and a conversation with your five highest volume institutional partners about what student profiles they're not seeing in the DET submissions that they know exists in the applicant pool. So the question I'd love to discuss with you is this: how many students is the DET not reaching right now because of the device assumption that nobody has questioned yet? I'd welcome some time with you to find out. Thanks for watching.